Hey guys, welcome to another Mind-Bending Science Minutes. Today we're talking physics. Big subject, kind of scary. Let's break it down into two magic tricks. So I have a challenge. You are going to need a cup, an index card, and something heavy. A washer, I'm using a magnet, just something small, a quarter. Your challenge is to put the index card on top of the cup and put your object on top. Now, you have to get the object into the cup without touching it. How are you going to do that? Well, if you are a fan of my friend Newton, you know you can do that. Okay, so what just happened? What did I just do? Well, Sir Isaac Newton was known for many things, but a lot of people remember him most for Newton's laws of motion. And the first law is, an object in motion will stay in motion. An object at rest will stay at rest. So right now, is my object in motion or at rest? Right, it's at rest. It's not going anywhere. And it's going to continue not going anywhere until another force acts on it. So sitting here right now, there's forces acting on it, even though it's sitting still. The main force is gravity. Remember, gravity is a force that pulls everything towards the center of the earth. So gravity is pulling it down into the cup. But since there's a card in the way, there's an equal force pushing back up. So it's staying still. But when I flick the card and made it go fast, what happened? Well, obviously we had the force of the card moving and getting out of the way, so gravity could pull it down. But there's also a very small force acting on the magnet from the card. If I did it slowly, especially if I did it from way over here, it doesn't work. Why? What's holding this to the paper? Friction. Friction is the force that happens between two objects when they try and move. It's the same reason when you rub your hands together, they get warm. You're making friction. So I have to make sure my force is fast enough to overcome the friction and get the card out of the way so the gravity can happen. So let's try it one more time. When you're trying it for yourself, it helps if you make sure if it's centered or at least a little bit shorter on the end you're going to flick it. And you're going to want to flick it good and fast. So I mentioned two tricks. Come right back while I set up, and I'll show you trick number 2. Have you ever watched a movie or a cartoon and somebody needed something real quick and they grabbed a tablecloth out from underneath a full set of tables? Well, I can't teach you how to do that. But I can teach you how to pull a tablecloth out with just a couple of things on it. So you're going to need a couple of things to practice. I recommend a small piece of fabric. This one's pretty big. You don't have to use something this big. Something like a square, like a handkerchief or a napkin. But you want to make sure that your hem is really small. So the hem is just the part on the edge that's stitched, or better still, something that doesn't have a hem at all. You don't want it to be thick, because that's going to work against you. And you're going to want a heavy-ish object that won't break. I'm just using a bottle of vinegar, because that's what I have around. You want to start off with 1 or 2 objects while you're learning. Then you can keep going. How many can you do? The trick is, it's just like that index card. So right now, my force is pulling the bottle of vinegar down and holding it onto the table. And everything's staying still. What force is going to happen when I pull this? Right, friction. So I need to make sure that I pull my fabric fast enough so that it's out of the way and doesn't have time for too much friction to add to make it fall off the table. While you're practicing, I recommend keeping your item close to the end and just doing a little bit of overlap. Eventually, you can see how far you can go. Now, the trick is, you want to hold your fabric on both sides, and you're going to pull down, not out. Pull straight down. If you pull out, it's just going to go with you. But if you pull down, that's going to keep that force directed. Ready? Here we go. All right. Once you get good at that, keep practicing. Once you get your technique a little better, you can move your item farther back and see how it works. Ready? See, I wasn't ready. I needed more room to spread out. So make sure you use something that's not breakable while you start. But pretty soon, you might discover you can make a pretty good magic trick all on your own. Darn! Keep practicing and come back for another Science Minute.